Hi everyone. My name is Chelsea Roney. I am co-founder of Proxy, and this morning we are going to be talking about fall event passes, some ideas for those fall event passes, why they're valuable to your community, how to get started, and just walking through the tool as well. I have my co-founder here on the call, Melinda, and I'll let her say hello real quick.
Hi, everyone.
That's it. Okay, so she's here. We'll both work together to monitor the chat today. So you're welcome to take yourself off of mute. In fact, we would really love that. Or you can ask questions in the chat if you don't want to come off of mute. So we'll go ahead and jump in. I know we have a variety of organizations represented here in the room today. If you would like to come off mute and tell me who you represent, that would be great. And what type of fall passport event you had in mind, that would be great. So I can speak directly to you. And if not, I will proceed anyways. Okay, Diana, we'll have you go first.
Okay, so we are Campground Guides, and we're building a network of maps, hopefully that'll cross the country. We've begun in Tennessee, and we're bringing on a bunch of advertisers to support our maps. So we want to figure out how we can add even more value rather than just the advertisers having access to the campers who visit the campgrounds. We want to incentivize the campers to go to like a if in town they have a music festival or something like that, we're interested in being part of that solution for the town, the vendors, and the guests.
I love that. Thank you for giving us that use case. And I think that passport events would be a really valuable way to do that because you're encouraging people to actually get into those locations and drive foot traffic there. And then you can provide reporting directly back to those advertisers about how many people you did drive to their place of business. And if you write it into your terms and conditions, you could pass those leads on to those sponsors as well. But you need to be very careful with how you word that legally. But yeah, that's available to you too. Okay, all right. Anyone else like to volunteer to come off mute and tell me why you're here?
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Allison Crean. I'm with the Copley Community Chamber of Commerce in Ohio. And we have always had, or the past few years, have had a map for all of our retail and sort of destination-like members. And your map is much more stylized than what I had, and I like that a lot, and that made me happy. But we also last year started a unique event that is both a week-long online silent auction and a shop hop. And we tried last year doing trivia questions that they had to go in to answer the trivia question to check in. We're like, it'd be so nice if they could do a QR code, but our web designer was like, you have enough pages. You can't do any more pages on your website or you will crash my server. So when I came across Proxy, I was very excited that we could go that route instead this year and simplify things because it was the trivia questions were very confusing for the shops. So
okay, well, we can talk through that. Great idea though. Very good. Okay. All right. Anyone else? We good? Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and get started. So, all right, so passport events, let's cover what they are in Proxy. So what you can do on Proxy is create a local experience, which is what we call the passport event, and you can have people check in to locations for prizes, to earn points and prizes. There are a variety of check-in modalities, which we will walk through with you. There's a bunch of different ways to create awards and ways to redeem awards, as well as quite a bit of reporting on the back end about what's happening within the Passport event. So hopefully we can cover all of that today and why these Passport events are great for your community. Mel, do you have anything top level to add before I jump into the next thing?
No, I don't think so. But if you have any questions while Chelsea's going through this, you can either interrupt her or if you want to ask them in the chat, I'll be monitoring that. And Chelsea,
Yes.
I'll monitor if anyone else needs to be admitted.
Okay, that sounds good. So why are Passport events good for communities like yours? One, they drive foot traffic because people are actually incentivized to walk into that place of business and check in, which is, different from like a visualization of place where people aren't as incentivized to check in. The next thing is that they support these local business owners. So like we said before, whether that business owner is a sponsor or not, you can provide reporting back to those local businesses on how much foot traffic you did generate for them. And if they are sponsors, you can give them information as well, which means that these events, another benefit is that they're trackable success. So you can show your ROI to your community or stakeholders. They're also really sponsor friendly. Pretty soon, Mel is working diligently on some ways for sponsors to make payment directly in Proxy to your organizations to sponsor events, to sponsor themselves on the map. So Mel might talk about that later on this call, but know that that's coming in the future and it will be included in that Passport event functionality as well. And then these events are very easy to market. So we always recommend starting about 30 days in advance. The community generally gets very excited about these events. We've had Passport events with extremely high participation and engagement from local communities. So people are really enjoying the gamification aspect of this Passport event. A couple of benefits that I might forget to mention later are that we are app free, so no one has to download anything to participate in these events. It's just a web app, so all they need to do is register, and then when they go to check in at these different locations, they can either scan a QR code or check in with geolocation, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's no app download required. Okay. We'll go into best practices after we introduce the product a little bit more, but I wanted to next give some folks ideas for fall Passport events, and I'll send out this list with the recording as well. So we could do seasonal and family-friendly themes like a fall flavors trail where you go to a food and drink challenge featuring, different businesses that could offer like apple cider, pies, or seasonal beers or things like that. A harvest festival Passport, so checking in at farmers markets, orchards, pumpkin patches, things like that. Leaf peepers Passport, a little bit less toward that local business, that most of you are interested in, but a fun one for the community nonetheless. Perhaps a sports and school spirited theme Passport, like a Friday Night Lights Passport where you go to local businesses before the high school football games or perhaps even tailgate spots. Team Spirit Trail to check in at businesses showing big fall games or offering discounts for fans with certain team choices. Let's talk about fall into local shopping might be another one. So really to stimulate those local shops in your area. Retail focused Passport that encourages people to check in at boutiques, bookstores, gift shops for holiday prep. Small Business Saturday, of course, takes place in the fall, and that's a major event on Proxy every year. So people will say, Small Business Passport, people will check into those local businesses, perhaps with showing proof of purchase even. So that's a good way to drive revenue. And then there were a couple of other good ones here. Oh, and then of course, as we dive into the Halloween and spooky season, there's also a couple of fun ideas like a haunted history hunt or a boo and brew Passport or a trick or treat trail as well. So those are really fun ways to engage your community around that fall holiday of Halloween. Any other ideas or questions before I jump into some examples from prior years? Okay, let me share my screen. In no particular order, I'm showing you some real life customer created maps from years past that have to do with fall. This event was created by Snohomish County up near where Melinda and I live in Seattle, and they created a map of like an art studio tour, an apple festival, fall festival, Day of the Dead celebration, just all of these things happening in the fall timeframe for them were featured on this map. And each of the events were described right here. People could click get directions, more info, etc. This map was created by Visit Vancouver in Washington as well on the southern border. They chose to highlight harvest events, pumpkin patches, haunted happenings, fall festivals, family fun, etc. So each of these events were represented with a very festive icon with some details in the description. This town created a fall trail map, so fall activities, fall flavors, and fall shopping in their town. And I really love the theme of this map with the leaves, the orange, and they automatically had the list display on the left-hand side of the map. Here I see everyone choose, but I really like it on this map. This one is a lot of fun. We've got Blue Springs, Missouri, creating a fall fun festival map. And this was I believe, one-day event. They've got all kinds of things on this map.
Right now it's in Abby's office. Okay.
Oh. Mel, can you mute? Okay. All right. They've got everything on this map from street closures right here to the chamber, to restrooms, police stations, etc. So I believe they publicized this map the day of event on, sidewalk signs with a QR code and before the event in newsletters. This one has quite a lot of viewership on it. Really fun. This next one was created by Tennessee Home and Farm and just highlighting fall festivals, a fair, all kinds of things across the state of Tennessee. This publication does a lot on proxy and a lot having to do with seasonal activities. And they find a lot of success here as well. I forget who this one was created by, but when I pulled it this morning, it was by an organization. But this one shows pumpkin patches, fall menus, Halloween lights and decorations, all kinds of fun things to do in this town here. And that's it with my examples. So we're going to jump right into the actual passport piece of things. I know some of you are new to us on Proxy and some of you are very seasoned on Proxy. So I'll try to start from the beginning. We'll add some places and get into the passport piece of things as well. But we do have this template for you and we'll publish this within a week or two so that you can use it if you wish.
Actually, I'm not hearing it yet. I just turned it on, but why am I not hearing it?
I think if you can go on mute everybody, that might be good.
I still need to get my
Okay.
this.
So we'll start here with the passport event. So what happens when you create a new map in Proxy, or let me rephrase that. For every new passport event, you need to create a new map in Proxy. And when you create a new map, the first thing that you'll do is brand it. We're not going to go through every step. I'll just let you know where these things are. So brand and styles in the upper left-hand side of things, you'll give it a new title. So for this one, we would do Fall Passport.
How can I help you with that? How can I get you off of it? That's very weird.
Hold on just a moment.
I signed up as Debbie Combs at this email address and everything. But
the mute situation is getting me right now. Mel, are you working on that?
Yeah, I keep muting them. Maybe they can't hear us is the problem.
Yeah, probably so. Okay, bummer. Okay, so You'll go in here, you'll brand your map. Down here, we have several unique backgrounds for the fall season, including spooky or muted. So you can customize your map in that way too. You'll change your logo to your event logo. So most people do have specific logos for their Passport event, and you'll put it right here. The next thing that you'll do is categorize, create categories for your places that you're going to add to your map, where people will check in. And then the next thing that you want to do is add places to your map for check-in. So right now, I'll just use the search and add feature to get some places on the map in order to demo right now. So I'll just click restaurant. I'll do a little search here in Chicago. And as soon as some pop up, we'll click add to map. Okay. All right. So at this point, I would just recommend that you get all of the places that are participating on your map. And then the next thing that you can do is add your Passport event app. So you click into apps on the left-hand side, and then you click to Passport event, and then you click activate. Once you activate the app, it appears on the left-hand side. So you click into it, and here's where you can begin getting set up. We recommend working from left to right across the top tabs here. And we'll get into all of the other things that you see on the screen in just a moment. But within setup, the first thing that you'll do is name your Passport event. Then you'll describe your Passport event. You'll set the check-in dates. We'll go ahead and set check-in starting yesterday and going through the end of the month. And then you can change the CTA for the words check-in if you want to change that. And you can put your terms and conditions URL in here. Next, you'll need to decide if you'd like to show the leaderboard to the participants. If you'd like to show the photo feed to the participants, we would definitely recommend this. This has been a really popular feature amongst our customers, and people have been having a lot of fun with that, especially our Forsyth Humane folks in the call here. Okay, so now down here, we're going to talk about check-in validation options. First, you need to decide if you want to have check-ins validated at all. You can have people check in using the honor system if you'd like. A lot of people don't choose that because the whole point is to validate the check-ins and make sure that people have gone there. So in terms of validations, we have a few separate ways to do this. You can use any or all of these check-in methodologies. I think it gets confusing if you do choose to use them all, so I would choose one or two. But we'll walk through all of them. The first way to validate a check-in is by having users check in by scanning a QR code. As several of you already know, this is what I usually recommend for Passport events. We provide the QR codes for you for every single location. You can either download them all in a packet and print them out or send them out, or you can download them one by one and create a different looking asset for them. And then you distribute these QR codes to the businesses, to the points of check-in. The reason why I like the QR code check-in methodology is that no one needs to remember to open their specific unique link to the Passport. All they have to see is the code and remember to just scan it with their phone. Popular places to place the code are table tents at restaurants, in the front door of a business, like on your way out the front door, so people just can't stand on the outside and scan it from the outside, or at the checkout counter. If someone is not registered yet, but scans the QR code, it encourages them to register first. So this is, probably the best way to get registrations all throughout the event as well. The next way to allow to validate check-ins is by geolocation. They'll have to have location enabled on their phone after they open their unique link to the challenge. So they'll need to remember that link or find a way back to it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you can set the distance from the place of check-in that you would be okay with them checking in at. You can do that in meters, miles, feet, or kilometers. The next way is by allowing users to check in by submitting a photo of themselves at that place. You can choose to automatically approve that photo or to manually approve them. Does anyone have questions about check-in validation options? This is probably the place where I spend the most time with people in demos.
I have a question.
Sure.
So we're setting it up so when people go in, we're not doing the geolocation or anything. They're going to
Yeah.
scan the flow code or QR code when they get there.
Yeah.
But we would like to have the photo thing on, but we'd like them to also get like more points in the challenge. Is that a thing you can do?
I think maybe you emailed me about this yesterday. I haven't gotten to my inbox from yesterday, so I apologize for that. Or someone asked me that question.
Yes,
yesterday.
I asked where the pictures go. I think like where do they show up so I can approve them? And then also can they get more points on the leaderboard for doing that besides checking in? Okay, they checked, but hey, they also took a picture of them enjoying their food or whatever. Can they get a point for that?
Yeah, so you're right in that concept is to get points, separate points for submitting a photo. What you need to do is go to activities.
Okay.
And then you click add new activity. And do you see the submission type down here? It's photos, URL, or text as the submission type for your activity. So if you want them to submit a photo, you select photo as submission type, decide on the point value, and then click save. Within their unique link, like for instance, they'll scan the QR code at the place, and then their unique link will come up on their phone, and they can see the place they just checked into, or excuse me, they'll see the place they just checked into, but at the top, they'll see a tab called Activities. When they click into the Activity tab, they'll notice all of these different activity points that can be awarded, and they can complete those challenges there if you wish. If you have a different name idea for that activity tab, I think Melinda and I would be open to it. I agree that that may not be the most, the first thing that people click on. So let me know if you have an idea there. And then in terms of approving photos, if you go to Participants and Results tab, all of the photos you need to approve will be sitting in a box that is not appearing right here. And it'll be apparent that you need to approve them for points.
Okay.
Once you approve them, those points will automatically be awarded to the users. Melinda, I don't think a notification goes to them, but upon that approval, but it will show in their unique link as soon as you approve it. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Down, and we can collaborate if you want to, if you have some ideas, let me know. Okay, so the next thing we can talk about is special offer settings. And special offers will automatically appear in the the remaining point description, unless you want to hide it and tell people check in. So some events need you to check in to like earn a free beer or, earn a discount or a free app or something like this. And so that's why you can hide the special offers on Map Points until a user checks in. Okay. The next thing that you can do is recurring check-ins. This was a feature that came out of a restaurant week somewhere that wanted to build an award for people who had gone to the same restaurant multiple times. So what you can do here is allow multiple visits to the same place if you wish. You can determine the number of visits that you allow to the same place for check-ins, and you can determine the frequency with which people can check into that place. Does anyone have questions here?
This is a really great feature to get people going back to places over and over again, but then not taking advantage of the challenge and, checking in every single day because maybe they work there. So you could say, once a week, once a month, and things like that. And that helps with your stats for the businesses that are participating, because we'll tell you how many times these people went, and you can tell the businesses, hey, you had these people recurringly come. And you'll see later what Chelsea will go through is with this as well, you can kind of have like regulars awards. So if you visit a business 10 times, you kind of get a special badge or something like that.
And then we'll show you in messaging as well, but there's a way to send a user a message upon check-in to a specific place too. And that can tie into this a little bit as well, like thanks for being a frequent flyer, so to speak. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is awards and badges. We will drop into this template award to give you an idea of what it is. So you create an award, you give it a name, you give it a description. So you'll want to tell people what they need to do to earn that award right here. Because they can browse all the different awards to see what they need to do to win them. So you say like check into 1 location to win this award, for instance, or check into 10 or check into all of them, for example. Then there's opportunity for a completion message. So as soon as the award has been awarded, they'll see a message and this is it. So you can customize that. It may need to be something like, quite a few events have something like, if you visit 10 places, you're entered into a raffle. So here you would say, congrats, you visited those 10 places, you're now entered into the raffle. If you win, you'll be communicated with on this day via email or something like that. The more clear you can be in this message, the better. If you would like to send users to URL for completion, like a redemption URL, for instance, they can access that here. If you check redeemable, what this means is that this award has like a physical aspect to it, like a t-shirt, for instance. If you visit 10 places, you get a t-shirt and you'll make it redeemable. And then on the back end, as people visit your office for redemption, you can check them off so you can keep track of that. Down here in success criteria, this can get a little complicated. So Melinda, feel free to point things out if I miss anything. The first thing that you'll need to do is determine how many places or if all of the places will need to be visited to earn an award. So for this one, we just said 1 place needs to be visited to earn this award. You can limit the eligible categories or tags that people can choose or people visit. So you might want to say like, you need to visit 5 restaurants to get this particular award, or 5 shops, or 5, breweries, or whatever the case, to earn a certain award. If you click all, that will just change things to, you have to visit all the places to win that award, or everything in a certain category. The next way you can create an award is based on the number of points. So you can change the number of points associated with every place. For most challenge or most passport events, we recommend that you leave them at 1 point for every event. But if you do have a certain spot that is worth more to you for check-in than another, then you can create your event based on points and have that certain point be worth more than the others. The last option is choosing visits to location. So here you can say, I want 1 visits to locations, either all the locations or any location. And in this drop-down list, Mel,
yeah, you haven't set up the locations yet in the next tab.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So, gosh, thanks. So in the next tab, what we're going to do is click click over here, and then we're going to come back to awards. When you get to the places tab, what you will do here is decide which places are participating in your event. Now on your map, there might be things like street closures or, you know, restrooms. And obviously those places aren't participating places for your event. So what you'll do is come in here and either one by one select or make them all active. We're going to come back to this page, but if you flip back to setup after doing that, then you can choose the locations that would be on this. So for instance, if you want to give an award for 10 visits to Italy, then you can do that. Yeah? Okay. All right. So if we go over to this, here, the QR codes will be generated in just a moment. It takes a few minutes. There are a lot of places. They'll pop up after about 10 minutes. So you'll be able to click on them and download them here or print them all at once up here. Here in Edit, you can edit the number of points associated with each place. You can change the 4-digit check-in code, oops, which I forgot to mention. Another validation option for check-in is a 4-digit code. You can give every place a 4-digit code if you wish, and you can change it here. And then you can turn off geofence for certain locations if you wish. Okay. Activities. Here you can award additional points for additional complete things for them to your participants to complete. You can either ask them a question and get a text-based answer back to get extra points, like give us a testimonial or answer a trivia question or something like that to get extra points. For photos, if people submit a picture, you can award extra points. And then URL. The way that people primarily use this is to ask for people's social media post links, so like an Instagram URL to a specific post or something like that to publicize the event. So like you get 5 extra points if you post about this on social. Provide us your URL for proof. Okay, the next thing here is registration and sharing. Let's talk about the registration form and then we'll talk about sharing. Right down here is where you customize your registration form. So you'll give it a header, you'll give it a description, you'll give it a CTA button. You have options for a cover image and a logo. And then you can add in different form fields. So you can have the email address or phone number. You can require different pieces. We just launched SMS today for Passport Event, so this is very exciting. If you click require on this, then you would ingest their phone number and you can message them, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Anyway, email is required. And then down here, you can decide if you want payment for registration, so you can sell access to your event if you wish, or you can solicit a donation instead. The next thing is that you need, once you're ready for registration to go live, you toggle this on. Registration is active. You can leave registration on for the entirety of your event, so people can register mid-event if you wish, or you can cut off registration at a particular time. If you cut off registration, you just need to toggle this off. Next, how do you share registration, or how do you share this event in general? These links right here. If I could put stars on anything in all of Passport Event, I would probably choose this like sharing box up here, because this is how you share the event. You don't share the map link, you share the links given to you here. So you can get your event link, your embed code, or your QR code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to pull up the QR code on my screen. And I would love it if any or some of you registered for the event with your cell phones right now, and I'm going to show you what happens on the back end side. Okay. So I assume most people have scanned it. You're probably moving through toward your unique link. Does anyone have any questions? I see Leah, Allison, and Melinda here. So on the back end, you can see people registering in real time. How cool is that? So as soon as you do your social media push or your newsletter push or whatever push you're doing, you're going to start to see those registrations flow in. Okay, so we're going to come back to this, but that's what you do. When your Passport goes live, you need to click the toggle on Passport is live. We know that you already put in a date within the check-in dates, but these dates are just for messaging. We require you to toggle it live and untoggle it because at the end of your event, because certain events cut off at certain times. Like certain events are, you can only check in from 8 to 8 every day or something like that. And so people cut off the checking in ability. So what I'm going to do now, if you registered for this event, is I'm going to unrequire validation. So I'm taking off the validation. So if you click refresh on your unique link that you just made it through to, you should be able to see the list of remaining places, like Melinda's showing you, flashing you on her screen there. Or, and you should be able to click into each and click check in. I hope you're having success with that. You can come off mute and tell me if you are or not. Look, Melinda got an award. We're so excited. And you can see that as you check in, confetti rains down, hooray. We're trying to make it very exciting for people. And you can see that across the top of your unique link that you have different options. Melinda, would you mind coming off mute and walking us through the user perspective across the top of the cell phone, the mobile?
Sure. Yeah, so if you have registered, you'll have your unique link. This is what the home will look like. If you click locations, what you'll see is a list of both your remaining locations, so the ones you haven't checked into and the ones that you've already visited. For the ones that have already visited, if, for example, we have multiple check-ins set up, people can re-check into those locations. And then within that locations, there's this little buttons. You can find which ones are closest to you, or there's filters so people can filter for certain types of things, and they can search as well. Next, we have the activities tab. So it's basically exactly what we just walked through. So the different activities we set up, people can see what they haven't done and what's completed. They can see their progress. So they'll be able to see how many places they've checked into, as well as the rewards they've earned and the rewards that they haven't earned. For the rewards that they haven't earned yet, it'll tell them how many more places they need to visit to earn that reward. So for example, if we have a more complicated reward, like visit 5 restaurants to earn the foodie badge, it will tell them, you need to visit 2 more restaurants to earn this badge. And then my favorite page, because I'm hyper competitive, is the leaderboard. So we have the leaderboard page. So it will show the leaderboard, and it will also show where you are on the leaderboard. So it'll say if you're, your place on the leaderboard. Diana is in first place right now, so I need to start checking into some places. The other thing that we recently added is the places leaderboard. Now this one is really fun because the places leaderboard allows the businesses to kind of have a stake in the leaderboard. It'll show how many validated check-ins are for each business. So, those businesses might also want to be on the top of the leaderboard. You could perhaps even give them awards for winning. And what that would do is that would encourage them when people come into their business to make sure people are checking in, make sure they're registering for the challenge and things like that. And the final one.
Sorry, may I ask a question about that part?
Yeah.
So how would the businesses see that? Like, how would they have access to that leaderboard? Because they're not necessarily we're charging for ours. So obviously,
yeah.
how, I'm just wondering, like, how do they get access to that to see where they're at on the leaderboard?
Yeah, at the moment, we don't have a way for them to see it. It would have to come through you or maybe someone who's, you know, participating as, you know, from their business. We do plan to add more ways. What I really want to do very soon is add, like, you know, a daily email or something that they get that says, you know, hey, here's how many people that checked into your business today, or a weekly or something like that. So this Places leaderboard is literally brand new. I think we launched it last week. So we're still working through finding ways to get businesses more locked into it and making sure that they can see it as well.
So probably we could, like, because ours is like a month long, we could at the end of the week send like a picture out of and say,
yeah,
like, where everybody's at.
Yeah, one thing we also might be able to do is so what the way that yours will work, since people are paying, is if people can register for the challenge, but when they go to participate, it'll be blocked if they haven't paid yet.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we could do is maybe I could make the leaderboard viewable for people who haven't paid, and so that way the business could register but not necessarily pay, and they wouldn't necessarily be able to participate, but maybe they could still see the leaderboard. So that's something like I could possibly, I think I could add pretty easily.
Okay, thank you.
And then the last one here is the photo feed. So nobody's uploaded photos yet, which is totally fine. But it's really fun once people start adding photos from the activity. They feed in from the activities. And if anyone ever has trouble checking in, so I'm going to click check in. We always have this having trouble upload a photo. So that's really good for people who might be technically challenged or something. We find that having that photo backup is really helpful to them. And you can add custom instructions there, like make sure, you know, you have the background of the business in there or something. And then you have to go in and approve those photos. So as they're approved, then they will also show up on the photo feed. And then people will be able to decide if they want their photo to show up on the photo feed or not. So someone might want to participate in the activity and submit a photo to you to earn the point, but maybe they don't want it public. Maybe their kid's in it or something like that. They can always opt out and that photo will not show up on the feed. Chelsea, I think you have one pinned one there. Maybe you can.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to show off more detail here. So at the top right, you'll see things that need approval. And it looks like Diana rated the plate and she answered amazing for the question here. But you can click approve one by one, or you can approve all, because you'll be able to see all of them sitting here. So we'll just go ahead and click approve, and then Diana will earn her extra point. She should be able to see that there. When we click refresh, now we can see that she's got 4 points for 3 visits, meaning she did that activity as well. Maybe we'll add an activity point count too.
Yeah, and you can always, sometimes people have trouble with this. You can always click on an individual person. So maybe click on Diana's row and you can see exactly where they've checked in. You can add bonus points. There's a lot of things you can do for those individuals and see kind of where their activity their points came from.
Yeah, so for any person, you can add bonus points, resend the secret link, add a manual check-in, hide them from the leaderboard, reset them, or remove them. And then over here, you can send them your unique link when inevitably someone says, I've lost my link. Then you come in here and you click this and you can resend it to them. Yeah, what?
Can you show us how how to submit the photo? Because that's not very clear as an activity.
So you would go here into activities, and then this one that she has set up is called Snap a Selfie. So in that case, you would click Snap a Selfie, add an image, and then based on your iPhone or whatever phone you're on, it'll ask you if you want to get one from your library or you want to take one, and then that's how you would submit it.
Mel, would you be willing to submit?
Yeah, sure.
One. So we'll see how that shows up in just a moment. And then at the top of you're going to probably have more than one award. So you'll be able to filter on filter the challenge participant list on who has won what award. All 4 of us have won this award. So when I click it, the list doesn't change. But if that, the award winners, anyway, the award winners will appear when you click that award filter. And that way you can call all of the winners or reach out to them. You can just see everyone who's won a certain award. And to clear it, you just click clear. Oh, okay. Mel has submitted a picture. Thank you. So we'll approve. And then Allison has also submitted a picture. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. And so we can approve that as well. And now if everyone on your mobile device clicks refresh and you look at the photo feed, you can see.
You can see me.
Anyway, you can tell that this can be silly and fun.
And when you have, some of our challenges have had up to like 1,000 participants, and that feed is just always flowing, and it's so fun and cute and seeing. And you can always remove a photo from a photo feed as well if there's anything going on. But and because you do have to approve them before they go on there. But yeah, it's really fun.
Yep. And then we have some reporting around check-ins. I will say that clicking download all check-in data is a useful thing to do. And as Melinda alluded to, we will in the future, hopefully soon, be adding reporting for businesses. So we'll get that figured out. But it would also be helpful if, as you go through your events, if you let us know what things you need reported on. We would love to do what's right by you. So please let us know what metrics you would like to see. And last, but definitely not least, is messages. Melinda's been working extremely hard on this. So there are a few different ways to send messages. We're going to just kind of go in order of the drop downs here, but we'll go through the different options. So the first thing you can decide on is message type, email versus SMS. We'll be on email for the moment. And then you can decide if the email should be a blast, like an announcement. For instance, the passport event starts now, kind of a message. Or it can be automated. So send to individual users when something happens. And then those somethings are described in the event. And so the first option is when a user registers for the challenge. The second option is when a user earns a reward. And the third one is when a user checks in at a particular location. I would really recommend customizing all of these messages and creating all of these messages. I think they're really powerful from a marketing perspective. So once you decide the event, you come down and you decide the subject line, the reply to email address, and if you want to include the unique participation link or not in the message. Yeah, that's very important. We'll come back to it. But anyway, in the message content, you can make this rich text with headers, bold italicized links, pictures, etc. You can preview your message and send your preview to your email. And then you can activate that automated message when you're done. I believe that on our feature page on our site, like under the Passport event features page, I do have a really nice customized registration message on there if you want an example, but you can make this pretty fancy. You can also create that message when a user earns a particular award, and the awards are listed here, so you can choose the messaging you want for each award. And then finally, when a user checks in at a location, you can choose the location. So for instance, a sponsor might choose to pay you a little bit more money to get a message sent to anyone who checks in at their location. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, now up here, let's drop down to,
You might have
should
maybe refresh, Chelsea. Maybe you had that up before I launched.
Oh, I probably did. I've had this up all morning. Okay. Aha. Okay. So
coming soon is gone as of an hour ago.
it's here. We're so excited.
If it doesn't work, then I'll fix it right after. But I literally launched this about 45 minutes ago. So,
and if
or I
you
guess
all
an
would,
hour ago.
if you all would be willing to be our very first test group, I'm about to click send now. So basically, in SMS text, you can choose blast or automated again. We're going to actually test this right now, and we're going to go with blast, and we're going to test the send timing. So send immediately or send at a scheduled time. And then recipients, all registered users, all users who have earned an award, and all users who have checked in. And then we'll create the content here. So it just says, congratulations, you've earned an award for your dedication and effort. And then it includes their participation link as well. So let's all cross our fingers and look at your cell phones to see if you get a text message.
I'm nervous. Oh, I got it.
All right. Yay. Cool. Okay. Mel, do you want to say anything about those messages, or do you?
No, I don't think so. You can see them if you scroll down on sent and scheduled messages. You'll it might not automatically update. It does. So it'll tell you how many went through. Sometimes if you do an SMS message, if people are opted out, you'll get like a failure notification, and that's okay. Those people, you can also send an email if you want, but it'll tell you how many successfully go through.
So I think that this is going to be one of the most powerful things in Proxy, because on the day that your event starts, or, like if you're doing a month-long restaurant week, like you could schedule a text message for every Friday night or every Saturday morning, or whenever you expect people to be going into these places, like, hey, remember you're registered, check out your unique link, like go, take action. So Mel and I are very eager to hear how this works for you, and we're excited that it's out there.
Diana, adding to my list of things. At the moment, it is not two-way messaging. We will recognize opt-out requests, so like stop, opt-out, things like that. I am literally today trying to build a way for people to text that number to join the challenge, and maybe check into the challenge with the unique codes. I'm not going to guarantee that because it's a little bit tricky, but I would not expect there to be a way for you to chat with those people back and forth. It would probably be more of like certain words they can say to activate certain things. And I don't know that you necessarily want to be responding to all of these text messages day and night. So that's one reason that we're doing it. So it'll mostly be a blast situation with a few keywords that they can respond to do certain things.
Yeah. Okay, so that more or less concludes this tour of Passport events. What questions can I answer for you? What would you like to chat about?
Diana, for the survey, I think you could just put the link in the message and just say, hey, thanks for participating. Fill out this survey, and then that would send to their text, and it should, their iPhone or Android should automatically recognize that as a link, and then click to send that.
And unless Diana wrote about that on the help desk, that might be the second request for surveys. Interesting. We kind of mentally note all of these customer requests as we're going, and oftentimes physically note them in a roadmap as well. All right. Well, I'll stop the recording. And then if you would like to stay and ask more questions, Melinda and I will hang out here for a couple more minutes. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you being interested in Proxy and stopping by.
So I do have a money related question. Mm-hmm. So I am I'm definitely good in terms of my budget to do this for the event that I had planned